Good morning, my beautiful friends. So we're still talking about the week of joy, which is the pink candle in the Advent calendar, if you do that sort of thing. So the first week we talked about hope. The second week we talked about peace. And this week we talked about joy. And so joy, hope, and peace are all something that we can give. Right? So we're recipients of these gifts, but we're also able to give these three things as gifts. And I was thinking about that. I was thinking about how we give joy. How do we do that? Well, it can be very simple. It can be smiling at somebody. It can be opening a door. It can be letting somebody cut in front of you in a long line of traffic. We can bring joy in a lot of different ways. We've seen pay forward movements where people will pay for somebody at the checkout or whatever. There's all kinds of ways that you can bring joy, ways that cost nothing and then, sometimes cost a few pennies and sometimes bring, bigger payments, whatever. But it isn't about money, really, right? It's about the intention and the thought. And then I was thinking, we have the ability to take joy away from people. And who wants to be that person, right? We want to be people who bring joy to the table. We don't want to be a person who sucks joy out of a situation or sucks joy out of people. And we've all met people like that, right? Now, this one person who unfortunately lost their spouse pretty young. And so, this is an older person. So every holiday, we have to lament. And I wish the holidays were like they used to be. And it's like, be in the present, because you're surrounded by family and we're having a good time, right? We can dwell on what isn't anymore, or we can dwell on what we want from the past, but that doesn't bring it back. All it does is rob you of joy and everybody around you who has to listen to you. So, we want to be bearers of joy, and we want to think about the present. So the Celts prayed constantly, and that's partly because of the monastic lifestyle that is indicative of the Celts, but everything was a living prayer because they lived very much in the moment. And so, like in the Carmina Gadelica, which is this giant book of prayers that were written down by Alexander Carmichael in the late 1800s, he wrote them down because they were an oral tradition and spoken in Scottish Gaelic, Irish Gaelic, Scottish Gaelic, right? So he went around and he interviewed people and he wrote them down. And so there's many examples of they're milking the cow. So there's different prayers. They're very similar, but they're different groups of people. So there's slight differentiations between them. Just like here in America, some people call soda, some people call soda pop, right? I call everything Coke. Like, it doesn't matter if it's RC Cola or Pepsi, it's Coke, and I drink Pepsi. So I'm not a big soda drinker, but if I'm going to pick, my mother was a Coke fanatic. I'm more of a Pepsi person. And I learned that at Dorney Park when I took the Pepsi challenge or the Coke challenge or whatever that was, that I actually preferred Pepsi better. But I don't drink a lot of soda because it's not good for you. So joy is something that you bring. And so think about the ways that you can bring joy to people around you. I try really hard not to be cranky, and sometimes I can get cranky, and I don't feel very joyful. But I try to remind myself, I try to say to myself, bring joy. Don't bring your snooty face. Don't bring your cranky pants. Bring joy to this thing that you have to do. You have to do it anyway, so you may as well come with a better attitude, right, than you might want to. So bring joy whenever you can. And so I'd love to hear the ways that you bring joy, the little things that you do. You can put them in the comments below. I am wishing you all the very best of light and love and a joyful day. Be well. Take care. Bye-bye.